Okay, we are live. Okay, just gonna share the stream with a couple of people, and we'll be right there. And hello to whoever came in. Nice to have you on the show. So let me just get my pop-out chat, and we'll be set. But hello, guys. Tiju22 here. The Blue Toad is back, and we're gonna do a late night edition of our show. But other than that, it's great to have you. And I can? Okay. Um. Oh, hang on a second. Let me get the link back, if you will. But let me get the link first. But thank you, Mama. I appreciate that. And of course, Wrestling Mama is I guess you could say, the hostess of HWA, but she's also the host of Wrestling Survivor. Do check that out, and it's always going to be on Friday nights, Standard Eastern Time. If you live overseas, then you might want to check your local listings for that. But thank you, Mama. I appreciate it. And no, she's not my mother, but we just call her Wrestling Mama because she's kind of like a mother to us, that sort of thing. But other than that, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. But anyway, as I shared the link on Skype, since I forgot to log into that, I will say that today's show is based very loosely on the Attitude Era. So you'll be seeing a lot of Attitude Era superstars of that time, and that's what the card is loosely all about. And, oh, darn it, I can't get into Skype because I have to start the... I always hate this damn... whatever. But you know it's there. I'll make sure to share it next... whatever. But I was about to go into Skype, but then it says you have to restart the computer just so you can go into Skype. Ugh, I hate that. Alright, well, anyway, welcome to Bill Haight, Tomas Hall, and Little Pig, let me in. Well, welcome to the show, Rick XTN. That rhymed. But, with that said, without wasting any more time, let's get on with the show. So here we go, right now. Oh, well, thank you, Wrestling Mama, but I'll remember to do that next time. And Elfie, great to see you, and also I've been noticing that some of the shows that you usually do, you do it on days that you don't usually do them. But nonetheless, though, your show timing is good. I just got back home from work just within the last half hour. Well, you're just in time. I got to tell you, man. But yeah, I had a couple of things hold me back. I had to upload a video for a group chat that I was doing, or not a group chat, excuse me, a group channel. But yeah, this week was an off week for me. I had appointments today and tomorrow. Oh, I did not know that. Well, hopefully this will ease any tension that you might have. But this is the No Mercy Arena, and we are live here in San Francisco, California, but I have to say, whoever did this arena did a great job capturing the magic that was No Mercy 2000 in the old World Wrestling Federation. So, and as such, you're going to see a lot of Attitude Era superstars in action. Maybe and a couple of oddballs here and there, but anyway, our first match is for the European Championship held by the man on the far right, Chris Jericho. But of course, he has unfinished business with the man on the far left, the Big Boss Man, and their feud goes back to my old series. And the same can be said for the two guys in the middle, Edge and X-Pac. Now that's another rivalry that started in my old series. But all four of these men are gonna compete inside Hell in a Cell. I've always wanted to do that. But anyway, I hope you feel well, Elfie. Or Susie the Elf. And, I wanted to tell you something, but I'll have to tell it to you on Skype. I just wanted to run it by you on Skype, so I'll have to get back to you on that. But here we go. Our first match for No Mercy. And again, they did such a great job with this arena. Yeah. It's just a simple idea for my show, but I wanted to run it by you, I guess you could say. Or just mention it to you. But first and foremost, we have the man who would later become the Rated R Superstar, Edge. And I gotta tell you, Edge, it's just sad that, his career ended just because of so many injuries with high impact matches. I mean, he put on great matches, don't get me wrong, but he always put his body on the line, and it's a good thing he stopped when he did, because who knows, he could be in a wheelchair by now. Yeah. Feeling well today. Feeling well today was Botox injections for my migraines. Oh, tomorrow is my ortho doc for my knee and shoulder. Lol. And of course we have the now infamous Victor Mason. And of course, in case you don't know, he is a vampire. Well, not this guy, the guy in the chat, that is. Well, here's X-Pac, and it's kind of funny, believe it or not, that X-Pac and Chris Jericho had a cage match in the real-life WWE in 2000. That was the end of a long-standing feud. Yeah, whether he was X-Pac, whether he was Six-Pac, or the 1-2-3 Kid, I gotta tell you, he was very talented. It's just that, people started to hate him. And I guess, you can only stand a guy for so long, I guess. I don't know why. I didn't do anything but win a belt. Maybe. As he does a series of DX chops. Now X-Pac, as well as Chris Jericho, are ready. Gilbert? No, Gilbert's not in. But this guy is. The Big Boss Man. And I gotta tell you, when I was growing up, the Big Boss Man was one of the guys I really, really, really despised, because he was he did so many disrespectful things, like steal the Big Show's father's coffin after, his father died. Or the fact that he would kill Al Snow's dog and feed Al Snow his dog, unbeknownst to Al Snow at the time. I mean, there were so many things I just wanted to do to the Big Boss Man, but of course I was too young at the time. Just because everyone wants to fight me doesn't mean I'm infamous. No, but it's just that you've been heard about the whole world through. And finally, yeah, he had yeah, that's really what it was. But it doesn't take away from the fact that I really thought, you know, will I be on Skype? Yes, I will. Oh no, wait. I'm sorry. I forgot. I have to go. I just remembered now. I have to go with my family to go celebrate my sister's graduation. So I won't be there. So I guess, you know what, Elfie? It's not really that much of a big secret anyway. I may as well just tell you. Elfie, Susie the Elf, I made you leader of a new faction on this show. You're the leader of a faction. And Iron Smasher 1024, what's up? Nice to see you, man. And of course, Iron Smasher does, not a problem, Elfie. But yeah, Iron Smasher, he does a lot of PS4 streams, like he does Overwatch and Fortnite. If you're into those games, check out Iron Smasher 1024. And he also does Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U as well. But I haven't told you the name of the group. The name of the group is, appropriately enough, Evolution. And right now, X-Pac and Chris Jericho going right after each other. These are two old rivals going at each other, which then leaves Edge and the Big Boss Man alone. Yeah, basically what I was going for with Evolution was not WWE's Evolution, although in a sense it's kind of like that, because you have the past, you have the present, and you have the future, in a sense. So it's kind of like WWE's Evolution, but I was really going for EXW's Evolution, kind of a reference to that as well. So, so the group will feature you as the past, as well as Raven and who else? I forgot her name. Oh, Raven and Maggie May as the present, and Melissa. You've seen her around here. Melissa as the future, so to speak. But that's just all I have to say about that. But back to the match. And Chris Jericho, well, now Edge gets a hold of X-Pac and gives him a suplex. And Chris Jericho, now goes right after X-Pac. Or the Big Boss Man, excuse me, my fault. But remember, the first person to get a pinfall or submission first will be the winner. Yeah. Time for bed. Oh, well, anyway, well, have a good night, and hopefully your operations go well. Pinfall on a cover one? No. A kick out by Chris Jericho. And now X-Pac goes right after Big Boss Man. And Rick is rooting for Edge. And, well, thank you very much, Elfie. I appreciate that very, very much. And, wait. Nope, never mind. Broken up immediately by X-Pac. Oh, just a checkup with the doc? Oh, okay. And thank you, Wrestling Mama, for subbing to my good friend Rick XDN. He not only does wrestling videos, but he does kind of a couple of other... I mean, he has other stuff in addition to wrestling videos. So he's a variety YouTuber, to say the least. I couldn't get the words out, really. Right now, X-Pac and Big Boss Man fighting each other, and of course Chris Jericho and Edge have had a number of battles over the years. And a DDT onto Chris Jericho. Oh, and a powerbomb onto X-Pac. But now Edge going right after the Big Boss Man, and the Boss Man slam onto Edge. And this could be the end of it right here. 1, 2. Oh, but kick out just barely by Edge. Well, now all 4 men are back in the ring. Or they were for a moment. But now it looks like X-Pac and Chris Jericho are going to fight on the outside for only a moment. And Boss Man suplexes Edge. Chris Clark, what's up? How are you doing? And I got to tell you, after the show, man, your guy's ready. And wait, a Bronco Buster onto Chris Jericho. 1. As Big Boss Man was going to try to steal the win, but a spear right to the Big Boss Man. And also Omar Wolf, what's up? Great to have you on the show as well. And, well, I'll just call you Gunshot. And Gunshot is also here. Wow, we're getting a couple of people here. I mean, but then again, everybody else is gone to sleep. Yep, you're going to make your debut in the bonus matches, and this match is just the first match, but you are going to be in the bonus matches. And, well, broken up immediately by Chris Jericho. And the Big Boss Man punches Jericho, and Jericho falls outside of the ring. And the Big Boss Man now going to go after Jericho. Not a problem, Chris. And thrown over the top rope is X-Pac, and down goes X-Pac again. And a front slam onto Chris Jericho in the ring. Now, of course, oh wow, the Big Boss Man is fired up. But of course, we're going to focus mostly on the action inside the ring, since that's the only way you can win the match within this Hell in a Cell. Pinfall into cover. 1, 2, no. And this is for the European Championship, held by Chris Jericho. Can't stay long as work. It's 5 a.m., so workers be soon. Yeah, well, I mean, that sucks, you know, when you have work, but what can you do? And it also sucks that, you know, you have different time zones and all that shit. And the Lion Salt onto Edge. 1, 2. No, Edge almost got the win. Or excuse me, Chris Jericho almost got the win on Edge. My fault. My bad. And the, I forgot what it was calling that. The Execution, that's what it was called. The Execution on Chris Jericho. Well, thank you, Gunshot. I tried to put on these great matches. And a stealing on the pinfall, but couldn't get him. And now all that's left is Chris Jericho, who just powerbombed X-Pac. Chris Jericho has a chance to put this match away. Yeah, I've heard of John Tenda's gimmicks, but none of them will ever be as great as Earthquake. I'm sorry. And, well, Chris Jericho went for the walls of Jericho, and a spear right to Jericho. And a pinfall on Jericho. 1, 2. Almost got the win. And why is the Big Boss Man just standing there like an idiot? Oh, well, thank you, Wrestling Mama, for subscribing to Iron Smasher. Yeah, he does different videos, does Iron Smasher. So if you're into something different, there you go. And a crossface onto Jericho, but broken up immediately by the Big Boss Man. And Kip Hayes, how are you doing today? Let me get a drink here. Well, I can tell you he's not in the game, Tomas. You know what? I have never heard of... Well, I mean, I've heard of the band, but I'm not familiar with their songs. Sadly, Gunshot. And a whip into the corner, and now Big Boss Man is dominating this match, as I probably figured that he would, being that he's the biggest and the strongest. And a pinfall on X-Pac. 1, 2, no. Yeah, I heard that it was a rough day from what I've heard. And a pinfall on Boss Man, but broken up. I don't know what to say, but, you know, I'm just... As long as you guys are safe, that's all that matters. The X Factor on Chris Jericho, and that busted him open. But now X-Pac turns his attention to the Big Boss Man. And a modified face buster onto the Big Boss Man. Very, very good. And 1, 2. Oh, almost got the win on the Big Boss Man. I mean, this is a very close match here. And I'm going to replay later soon. You need to get a lot of things off your mind. Well, do what you have to do, man. I heard of them, but I'm not that familiar, though. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, I mean, I've heard of Panic at the Disco. I'm just not that familiar with their songs. And again, every time somebody tries to go for a cover, they just cannot get the win here. Oh no! Well, I hope he recovers soon. Yeah, hip hop is awesome, but oh wow. Well, sorry for bringing down the level of the stream, but you know, and an execution onto the Big Boss Man, and now we're at that point where you know the fatigue has got to be setting in. At some point, you have to find a way to put someone away while making sure no one will break up the count or break up a submission as Chris Jericho gets speared. Yeah, we're very sorry to hear that. And I have to tell you, Kip, as well as Ace Hayes, it's not your fault. You're doing your job. And not Chris Jericho, excuse me. 1, 2. Oh, broken up, or not broken up, but kicked out by Chris Jericho. 2 hours. Well, that's good. I'm happy that well, I was going to say Ed, but that the Ace Hayes is still, he's going to make it, and that Noble is walking. Well, that's great to hear, Kip. Thank you. Also, for those of you that are interested in Gunshot's show, Indiana Championship Wrestling, you can also check that out too. And a submission on the Big Boss Man, but broken up by X-Pac. And so far, Chris Jericho and the Big Boss Man have been busted open. And so far, X-Pac and Edge are the only 2 men in the match that are not bleeding at this moment. 1, 2, but still cannot get a win. I mean, this has been an epic match in the sense that there's been a lot of back and forth. And again, another breakup. Oh, it's not your show? And of course, Chuck Norris always I don't know what else to say. Big Boss Man was a good wrestler. He was one of my favorites. Well, hey, thank you for just coming in and just saying hello. I appreciate it, man. I would have done it sooner, but I had to run some errands and all that stuff. But yeah. It's an India company. What? Or I think you meant to say indie company, like an independent company. And X-Pac now going for the Bronco Buster, and he hits it on Edge. What do you mean, get it? Well, in any event, thank you for coming. And the Big Boss Man gets the win as Edge and X-Pac were a bit too busy fighting. They didn't see the Big Boss Man come in and pin Edge, or excuse me, pin Chris Jericho to win the match. And yeah, I had a feeling that's what it was. I see. Thank you for clarifying that, Shooter, or Monstar Factory Wrestling, as he is known in the chat. Yes. But yeah, life does happen. I will say that. But this match was back and forth. But in the end, the Big Boss Man got the pin on his arch nemesis, Chris Jericho. And at the expense of Jericho, he becomes the new European champion. So a big win for the Big Boss Man as he takes a 1-0 lead in his feud with Chris Jericho. So let's get on with our next match right here, right now. Yeah, he was, especially in the late 80s. And up next, now Omar Wolf alluded to this, especially at the last Super Show that we did, and he mentioned that it was not over between the British Bulldog and Bret the Hitman Hart. Well, that's yet to be determined, Chris. But for this match, the Bulldog, the British Bulldog, wanted one more match with the Hitman. And win, lose, or draw, this match will be the final match in this storied rivalry between Bret the Hitman Hart and the British Bulldog. Well, I can tell you that Chuck Norris is going to be in action later. Oh yeah, Big Boss Man was a great hardcore champion. Yeah, And Kip Hayes is going to go for the Hitman, while Feck is going to go for the British Bulldog. I mean, you really cannot go wrong either way. But yeah, I would love to see son versus father, D.H. Smith and the Bulldog. Yeah, it would have been great to have seen the British Bulldog and his son. I mean, they did tag up, but that was in the independent scene. I'm pretty sure there's footage of it, especially in the months leading up to his untimely demise, and I'm talking about the British Bulldog. Well, I'm not sure if you really want Chuck Norris. But then there's Harlem Heat. They were the best tag team in WCW. In fact, sadly, they never did wrestle in WWF or the World Wrestling Federation. Oh yeah, and speaking of Eddie Guerrero, you will see Eddie Guerrero later in the show. Yeah, there is footage of the British Bulldog and his son as a tag team. I mean, and again, this was, just before he died and when his son was a very young pup. But yeah. So yeah, there's footage there. Chuck Norris against Kane. Yes. Well, match underway. Now this is a last man standing match. And like I said, this will be the final match in this storied history. But don't worry, I will pick a fighter for you. And a pile driver onto the Hitman. Of course, he realizes it's going to take more than that to beat the Hitman. And Feck says he'll take on Clark. Well, I have someone in mind as far as Chris Clark is concerned. And then, of course, welcome to the show, Noble Hayes. And, well, thank you for coming, Shooter. I appreciate that. And hope to stream when you're able to stay and hang out. But and I hope to see you stream when I'm available and I'm not at work. But nonetheless, take care, my friend. Just enjoying the show. 2. That's a consideration. I'll consider that. Feck. 7. 8. Nope. Did not finish him. And the British Bulldog pays for gets a jawbreaker for his trouble. No, there's no animals. Be right back. All right, cool. Well, now the count is back in effect for Bret the Hitman Hart. Yeah, they did. I'm part of me, there's a part of me that says they should not have done it, but another part of me says that, I really don't know. I really don't know if they should have continued or not. Because I know in good conscience, I really would not do that. I really wouldn't. Well, thank you, Omar Wolf. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. But thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, well, I hope she's alright. But I don't think the British Bulldog's going to be alright after getting hit in the head onto the turnbuckle 10 times. Now pulling on the hamstrings. But of course he's not done with him yet. I mean, he really wants to put in the punishment here. And a suplex onto the Bulldog. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot to say hello to John Oldschool. My fault. I am so sorry I did not catch you there, but yeah. You wouldn't have done it because that is disrespectful, yeah. Yeah, 8PA, DX, Latino Heat, Harlem, the Dudleys, New Day, Bray, and Matt in the Wolfpack. Those are some good picks there. Let me get a little drink here. Well, the referee only got up to 7, though. But a big military press slam onto Bret the Hitman Hart. And of course, like I said, the British Bulldog, he asked for this match. And I gave it to him, but on one provision, that this would be the last match that he would ever have. Your cousin Superstar? What? Oh, nice reversal onto the British, from the British Bulldog to the Hitman. We're up to 6 now. 7. 8. Oh, but the British Bulldog could be moments away All but the Hitman counters that. And let's see. Lady Storm. Oh, I've seen her. A couple of rounds, yeah. Oh, Custom Superstar. No, I don't have your Custom Superstar. And Feck says that his favorite women of that time were Melina, Victoria, and Sable. I can't go wrong with Sable, and I'm pretty sure Brock picked a winner there. No, he was talking about his Custom Superstar. It's just the stupid autocorrect for him. But in the meantime, a Russian leg sweep onto the British. Or the Briton, I should say. The British Bulldog. Oh yeah, Trish Stratus. Probably the greatest woman of her generation. I mean, she started in 99 and she wrestled all the way to 2006. I mean, but, you know, she did pretty well for herself. You know, not just as a wrestler, but financially, she did pretty well for herself. You know, she's not on the streets looking for a job. I mean, she's running her own business as far as I know. And a nice suicide dive onto the British Bulldog. I would have to say the old Raw is War. I'm not talking about Raw now. I'm talking Raw back in 97 all the way up to, I would say, 2002. Well, with all due time, in due time, Noble, I will say that. Wait a minute. Ref, aren't you supposed to count for the British Bulldog? And what's up, Lucius West? But, oh, wait a minute. Don't tell me. Is he stuck? All right, I'll give it the next 15 seconds. If he doesn't get up, then I'll just have to call this match. Because apparently the British Bulldog is just, yeah. Yeah, I'll have to call this match because the British Bulldog hasn't been able to move. So I guess we'll have to just find out. It was the British Bulldog. Obviously, he lost this one. But yeah. For Rick, he says his favorite was WCW Nitro from the beginning until the day Vince Russo came in. And currently his favorite is Lucha Underground. All right. Do you think Chris Benoit? I don't know. Again, there's so many, like wrestling-wise, he should be in the Hall of Fame, but we still don't know if he really did commit that act of, you know, double homicide suicide. I really don't know. Unless anybody has a time machine and can prove it, I don't see it happening. And let's see. Well, those are just some of his favorites. But now we have a rivalry in Mickie James and Natalya. And Mickie James is already in the ring right now. And wait a minute, Natalya from behind attacks and jumps her from behind. And of course, this feud started at the last Super Show that these two women were in. And that was when Natalya defeated Mickie James for the championship. But as if winning the championship was not enough, she would go on to attack Mickie James. And Mickie James has not forgotten about that. But yeah, Lita was one of my favorites. Yeah. The debut of the Nation of Domination. Favorite wrestling pay-per-view. Oh my god. If I had to pick one. I would have to say WrestleMania 3. I'm sorry, WrestleMania 3 for me. Oh yeah, you would, Lucius. But then you'll have to answer to her husband, if you know what I mean. That would be Nick Atlas, formerly known as Magnus from TNA. Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. And a nice bulldog onto Natalya. Oh, Noble. Yeah, you might have to refresh, my friend. You know what? I have to. I kind of have to agree with you, Bill, for that one. But yeah. But yeah, you might have to refresh, Noble, because you know that's another thing I hate sometimes is if the string gets stuck, then you either have to refresh it or hit the live button, especially if you're behind. WrestleMania 22. You know, it probably would have been the greatest WrestleMania if Eddie Guerrero hadn't died. I'm thinking that if Eddie and Shawn Michaels had the match that they were planned to have had for WrestleMania 22, it would have tore the house down. But we'll never know because he died. But a match like that would have been great. One, no. Well, not a problem, Noble. Bullet Club. And Mickie James went for a drop kick and barely got a bit of Natalya, but she might have hurt herself a little bit. And a suplex onto Natalya. I've never heard of GOD. I mean, I've heard of the Bullet Club. But yeah. Man, everybody's talking about their favorites. Yeah, Rey Mysterio, AJ Styles, Ricochet, those are some of the best. I mean, Ricochet, he was in Lucha Underground as Prince Puma. What? Yeah, the Bullet Club is awesome. I you know, they do such a great job here. And Natalya just motioning to the crowd on what to do to Mickie James. And they just stand there. Yeah, and Natalya was just putting the bad mouth on Mickie James, and that's what she gets for that. Man, so many good ones there. I would have to say Kenny Omega. I mean, Finn Balor, or Prince Devitt as he used to be known as, he was great, and so was AJ, but Kenny Omega has proven to be the best. Oh yeah, they put on some great matches in Lucha Underground. And down goes Natalya, this time by Mickie James. And Natalya gets back inside the ring, and actually both of them do. And then of course we have Adam Cole, baby. I have no doubt that Adam is going to be in the next game. I know it. 1, 2, 3, and that spinning discus clothesline knocks out Mickie James and puts her away, and Natalya gets the win. I mean, well, they had a few matches, but many of them were really good. Oh, that was Natty by Nature, and welcome to the show, Statman, aka Mark Caliber 17. But for short, we'll just call him Mark. So anyway, welcome, Mark, to the show. But yeah, Ricochet is in fact the former Prince Puma. And right now, Natty just happy with herself. I mean, that she did a number on Mickie James. And welcome, Melissa. How are you doing, my friend? And of course, the Mario Girl is here. And you had a good match. And I mean, it was back and forth, but in the end, Natalya was the one that got the win. All right, let's go to our next match. All right, let me just get something really quick. Anyway, doing pretty good, and I'm doing really good. Of course, I won't be doing a show tomorrow because I'll be at my sister's graduation. But here is a dream match. Here is a dream match, and this is to crown a new television champion since the previous one. His contract expired, and we were not able to get him to a new deal, and we had to relieve him of the championship. If I will be here much time, I have to go to school tomorrow. Oh, that sucks. So you have Owen Hart against Christian. Maybe. But I am ready for this match. But are you guys ready? I certainly am. Alright. Well, with that, let's get started. So yeah, you have Captain Charisma against the King of Hearts. Let's go. Let's get ready to rumble. No, not really. If I do sound like I have a cold, I think it's just the way I speak, but I could be wrong, though. But no, I don't have a cold. At least not that I know of. Well, anyway, we have Christian. No, WWE never had a television champion. Let's get ready to rumble! How about that, Rick? But no, they never had a television championship, but just the fact that someone made that, I'm like, that looks so legit, man. It's crazy. I mean, you would think that they would have made a television championship, but they didn't. And all I have to say is, yeah. That's all I got to say about that. Oh, yes, Melissa? Yeah, that was TJ Buffer, that's all. No, no, I'm sorry, but Michael was the best. Michael Buffer, that is.